It was heavy raining outside the building, and so many people came and went. Some people are drawn in the rain, and some are using umbrella and doing their things inside it. People walked here and there. Some walks with the help of stick, and some with wheels. The staff are busy at work, and there sat a person folded in the rain, shivering and shaking. His eyes were both in the water and tears. He was holding his hand tightly against his chest and mumbling something while waiting to know what the condition of the person inside the room. Inside the room, there was been doctor and nurses trying to save an old lady who was lying in bed, motionless. A beep sound came heard around the room, and it suddenly lightened. "What are you making?" Jungkook started by suddenly asking from behind him. He put his hand on his chest and breathing slowly before speaking. "I am preparing pancakes since I am craving them," they said it with cute made voice. "Did I get one too? I will think about it." Jungkook hid his reply and walked from there not to disturb their father. He was in the middle of climbing the stairs to go to his room when he heard their phone ring. He was happy to attend the call when he saw his best friend's name on it. "Hello, my son." The hobby was broken and he heard a sob which indicated that he was crying. "What happened?" They asked quickly with worry. Jungkook, who heard the voice, stopped there and watched him with confusion. He can see the anxiety in the eyes, which suddenly changed into terror. Jungkook started to climb down the stairs looking at the. He understood something had happened. Granny, she's gone. That's the last word they had before his phone fell from his hand. His breath became blurry, but she can somehow see Jungkook running towards him, calling his name. His legs began to shake and they lost their balance. He tried to hold onto the kitchen counter, but he couldn't. Jungkook left like his world was going to end when he sat there losing his balance with teary eyes and shaky legs. He ran to God left to catch him before falling. He catch him in the time one can hear the sound of children playing and some people chatting there, and his grandmother were sitting on the sand and watching the kids playing on the shore. "Did you remember when we were the age of these kids? You were afraid to touch the sea water," his grandmother said with a chuckle. "Yes, I remembered. You are the one who made me got out of my fears, like those parents who touch their kid to swim." He paused for a second and continued after looking at her. "You are my Appa and Emma both. God sent you as my parents." "Yes, I have been your parent thought this. Yes, I teach you to swim, cook, play, and everything I know. I have been with you all the time without making you lovely after your mother is gone. Don't you think she is also alone?" "What do you mean?" Granny smiled at him softly, then suddenly stood up and slowly started to walk. They also stood up from there. "Where are you going?" he asked his granny, who was walking in front of him. She stopped, turned, and faced his grandmother. "I'm not going anywhere. I decided to take a rest. Will it be okay if I take some rest with my daughter? She is also alone there. Will it be okay if I am with her from now on?" They can't. From what she tried to say something, but he can't. He stood there speechless, a lamp from on his thread. His vision became a blurry. He can't see properly. He feels like his grandmother is slowly disappearing in front of her. He quickly wipes her tears with his hand and looked properly, but he didn't see anyone. The shore is sympathy, only he is there. He stood there motionless. He looked around. He can't find his granny or anymore. "Granny," he tried to call him, but only air comes from his mouth. His chest felt heavy. He put his hand on his chest and shouted out his lungs, "Granny!" They shouted loudly and woke up from the bed, which startled Jungkook, who was sitting near him. Tae, Jungkook quickly hold his face and tried to calm him. Tae looked around. He was on hospital bed with Jungkook sitting near him. His hand trapped and glucose water injected inside. He suddenly remembered his conversation with Hobie. Without wasting a second, he tried to stand up, but Jungkook hold him. What are you doing? Jungkook, I want to see Granny. Hobie said something on the phone. I don't want to believe that. I want to see him now. I want to go. He tried to remove the things from his hands like a mad person. Look. I will bring you to Granny, but not now. You are not well. You fainted. You have wait until the treatment is over. Please, Jungkook, try to calm a restless Thea. No, I don't want any treatment. I want my grandmother. Thea again tried to stand up from the bed, but when he puts his feet on floor, he cannot stand properly. He suddenly collapsed, and Jungkook instantly held him. Thea, please listen to me for our baby. The last word, the last word stopped the thief from struggling in Jungkook's hole. He slowly surrendered and began the sob. The sob changed into the loud cry. Jungkook hugged him tightly and tried to hold him back the tears that were forming his own eyes. As promised, Jungkook brought Tae to see his granny. After the room was filled with white rose. Her favorite Tae was sitting near his grandmother holding a bunch of white roses and looked at her with dry eyes because he was tired of crying all the time. Hobie was sitting near him with puffy eyes. When they arrived there, Mrs. John and Jimin were already there with Hobie. Mrs. Diana instantly hugged a broken Tae who couldn't take his eyes off his loveless grandmother. Jungkook held his tightly all the time around his shoulder because he is not walk properly. Time escaped. Jungkook put the light on Tae's room and walked towards the bed with a plate full of food. Tae was lying silently on the bed but struggling his eyes when suddenly the light came into contact with his eyes. Tae, you have to eat. Wake up. I don't want anything. Don't you think about our baby? The baby will be hungry. They slowly look at Jungkook when he mentions her baby. Jungkook helps him sit properly and take the food in his hand. It's been 3 days since Granny passed away. They still does not get over the incident. He is always in his room and every day Jungkook came to check on him. He was not eating well, so Jungkook took the responsibility to make him eat. Open her mouth. Jungkook bring the food to their mouth. They opened his mouth slowly and began to eat, which made Jungkook happy. Will she be resting happily? Happy with my mom? They asked. The question suddenly stopped him from feeding the looked into those Play's eyes, which were not filled with tears. It's breaking his heart when he is met a grandmother only a few times. Jungkook also cannot accept the news first. Yes, of course, because of the nice people and God will let them rest happily. They will be happy there. Don't worry about them. Do you believe that they will be happy there if they learn that you are not happy? Even if they are not with us, they didn't want us to be always worry about them and live in sorrow. We should move on slowly them by living happily. Only that will make them rest there without any worries. He was hearing Jungkook speak like this for the first time all these days. He only saw Jungkook cold side, but now he has started to express his concern and feeling not to other but to him. That made Tae planes. He looked at him silently all the time. Jungkook was speaking. Jungkook was now a different person, different from the other who always shouted and yelled. The one who doesn't care about others and the one who doesn't value feeling. After Jungkook fed him the food, he gave him water and placed the plate on the table. Unexpectedly, a hand held him when he stood up. Don't go, okay? Jungkook slowly laid Tae on the bed and took a seat near the bed. Sleep, I will be there. Tae slowly closed his eyes. Always stay. They wake up when the bright light fall on his face. He quickly looked at the time. It was 11 a.m. He was shocked that he slept this much. Maybe because last night Jungkook was with him. He slept fully. A little blush crept on his face when he think about how Jungkook fed him and helped to make him sleep. He slowly started his morning routine and came down to make something to eat. He was on way to kitchen when morning late bird Jungkook said from the main hall where he was with his laptop and a cup of coffee sitting there on the sofa. He got a little shocked because he thought he was the only one in the house. Jungkook didn't go to your work? They asked soon after he came out of shop. I am working. Jungkook lifted his laptop from his lap and showed it to Tae. I am working at home. Why? Do you want me to tell the truth or lie? This made Tae smile to his funny question. He decided to play along. I wanted to hear both. First tell me the lie. I'm not feeling well, like those kind of ill. To the mom to not to go to school. They both laugh at his silly lies and about the truth. He was because you are alone. This man suddenly dropped a jungle put put the laptop near the table and walked towards Thay. I came to know that you had closed it Thay for some days. Jungkook stood in front of Thay from a little distance. They fainted finds it hard to look into Jungkook's eyes. Why did you want to accompany me? Because you were them. I felt alone, Jungkook said, leaning a little towards Tae, who leaned a little backward in response. He understood what Jungkook was saying. You say you stay with me when I am near, and I wanted to stay with you when you are alone. I will be here as long as you are here. I am hungry. I will go and make something. They said and this, and suddenly walked fast toward the kitchen, leaving a small Jungkook behind. Do you know that I miss the most when you are not here? Jungkook asked Tae, who had stopped eating and looked at him curiously. They were eating breakfast together, and always Tae added some of Jungkook's favorite for the breakfast. Your food, Jungkook said while showing his funny smile and expected. Teamable Jungkook pretends like he didn't hear the little compliment and hold his laugh. I was over the moon when you returned from your house and continued to cook delicious food, Jungkook said while continued to devour the food. He started to become a little mad. He tried to ignore it. I thought you would be there in my company so I can eat your food there also. Jungkook can see he was annoyed with his word. He didn't intend to stop teasing him and he continued, can't you just make me something for my lunch as well? Did you only miss my food? They asked instantly after Jungkook's question in a high tone and Jungkook expected this outburst. Yes, what else would I miss? He asked casually. You never mind. I miss you I miss you. They was too stumped to speak. He looked at Jungkook with wild eyes. I miss you so much that I will look at your house every night while sitting inside my car when I get back from work. There isn't a day I haven't passed by your restaurant. You are on my head every time, Jungkook said frequently. He was processing what he had just heard from Jungkook. How can you how can you talk about these things openly? Why? Don't you like it? No, they try to defend quickly. I can see you blushing, Jungkook. They shouted in a cute maid voice. Yes, that's me. What? Let me eat before I lose my appetite. They then started to eat without looking at Jungkook. Jungkook, who was laughing all the time, enjoying teaching Tae. When Jungkook said he was going to stay at home, they thought it would be for 2 or 3 days, but he was wrong. It's been a week since they put his work on, and Jungkook was here with him. Thought the week was really enjoying Jungkook's company. He helped taekook join him in the dining, walk with him around the garden, and sometimes they play video game together without Tae knowing. Jungkook is slowly healing from his cranny suppression. Tae was doing his night out routine when he heard Jungkook calling from downstairs. Tae, can you come here? Yes, I am coming. Why is calling me downstairs instead of sleeping at this hour? Tae was confused and decided to check. When he reached down the stairs, it was all dark. He thought none were there and decided to go upstairs, but suddenly the lights came on and he was straight for a moment. Whenever surprised, there is Jungkook standing in the middle of the hall with two large popcorn bags in his hand. They looked around. The sofa was filled with pillows as a small puffy pillow, and near it were some drinks and a snack placed on the small table along with some blankets. What are these? He asked curiously. We are going to have a movie night, Jungkook said with shining eyes. Come sit. These popcorn are really heavy. Jungkook acted like he cannot hold the popcorn and then walked to him with a laugh. Jungkook quickly played a movie when they were comfortably seated on the sofa. Jungkook was smiling all the time, not looking at the movie but at the Tae. Tae was cutely trying to hold his tears and nibble his lip time by time. Sometimes he rubbed his stomach. Jungkook's eyes always took a glance whenever Tae ran his hand above his stomach smoothly. He wondered how it will feel when he rubbed his baby bump. When the movie was finished, there was a mess cry. His nose and eyes became red. Jungkook turned off the TV and looked at Tae with a smile. Come, let's go to sleep. I'm getting late. It helped Tae stand up and walk with his room. It was a nice experience. Thank you, Tae said when he entered his room. I'm happy that you enjoyed. Good night. Good night. Tae stood there watching Jungkook begin to leave bath. Jungkook, yes, Jungkook said, stopped and walking back to Tae. What? Do you need anything? Jungkook asked when Tae hadn't said anything. Do you want to feel the baby bump? They asked, leaving Jungkook with goosebumps. It's okay, you can sleep now. It's late, and they didn't let him complete. He pulled Jungkook inside the room, walked towards the bed, and made him sit with him on the bed. Jungkook glared when, without any warning, they lifted his shirt, showing his soft little baby bump with a smile. It took all of his courage to move his hand towards the bump. His hands are shivering and he was slowly reaching to touch it, but they put his hand on the stomach and made it touch his bump. Jungkook looked at Tae with so much emotion. I know you want to touch. Jungkook slowly moved his hand around the which Tae felt tickles, and he tried to hold his laugh, but he couldn't hold it longer, so he began to laugh slowly. Well, Jungkook was laughing also. It tickles. Really? Then not his response. Jungkook began to move his hand more. Jungkook stopped. Jungkook was enjoying the moment. He didn't intend to stop, and Tae began to laugh more. Stop. The room was filled with their laugh. A few moments later, Jungkook stopped and Tae stared to pants. Tae breathed his jerk when Jungkook suddenly leaned down against his stomach. He slowly lifted his hand to look at Tae, who was by his sudden action. "Good night," he said, showing his funny smile. Time escaped. Everyone was shocked to see their boss walking straight to his office with an injured hand. Early this morning, they began to rumors around discussing the cause of the injury. As soon as Jungkook entered his office, he took off his bandage and threw it on the couch. He sat in his car and started walking. "What happened to your hand?" Jimin asked upon entering the room. Jimin arrived at the company this afternoon after attending a meeting. He was aware of the rumors that were going around. To point out more, he headed right to Jungkook's office. "Jimin, go to your office." "It's nothing," Jungkook said, annoying without taking his eyes off the laptop. "Are you a doctor? What is that bandage doing there?" He pointed at the bandage which Jungkook had thrown carelessly. "I got into a small accident this morning. I am alright. They put this up from some formality. I can't work with these things," Jungkook said after raising a sign. Jimin got angry at his young words, but his expression changed into a mischievous smile when he suddenly remembered something. "I don't think." Jungkook snapped out of his working mind when Jimin mentioned his favorite person, Tae. "Yes, he was in the reception section. Then I took the lift. He carried something in his hand. I think it's a lunchbox." Jimin remarked caused Jungkook to cast a surprised glance at him. However, there was an unexpected knock on the door. Jungkook jumped from his seat and quickly walked to open the door. "But I think it's time to dispose of these things," Jimin asked, stopped Jungkook in middle and walked towards the sofa where the bandage was lying. Jungkook grabbed the bandage before Jimin could and began to quickly wrap his arms around. Jimin laughed at his young who was struggling to wrap it with one hand. They heard thieves from the other side of the door, and Jungkook got frustrated when the bandage was not doing anything good. Jimin laughed more. "Idiot, help me with this." Jimin walked without stopping his laugh to help Jungkook. Didn't he inside? But they said he was there. They said to himself standing outside the office. "Maybe he is busy." He returned around and was about to leave from there, but the door suddenly opened, which made him turn back. "T, what are you doing here?" Jimin asked. "I thought he hadn't seen him earlier." "Hi, Jimin, isn't Jungkook inside?" They asked awkwardly, seeing Jimin. "Yes, he is." "Get inside." Jimmy moved aside to Tae could enter inside. Then Tae walked inside. Jungkook was working on his laptop with a serious look and then looked at him, surprised by his presence. "Tae, what are you doing here?" Jungkook stood up and walked to Tae, and that's when Tae noticed the hands. "Oh my god, Jungkook, what happened to your hand?" Tae asked worriedly. "It's a small accident." "You should be careful while driving," T said with concern and slowly touched the hand. "Ouch." Jungkook acted like it hurt. "I'm really sorry. Does it hurt a lot?" "Yes, I'm sorry," T began said when he thought he hurt Jungkook. He carefully and slowly patted Jungkook's injured hand, which Jungkook was enjoying secretly. But Jungkook suddenly felt someone's presence, and he looked at the person standing near the door, watched them slightly with a naughty smile. "Don't you think it's too much?" "Don't you dare to ruin the moment." "What if I did?" "Get out." They communicated silently through their eyes, and Jimin decided to leave the couple in their own world after being satisfied with teaching his young. He was seeing his young acting like this for the first time ever, and he was enjoying it. He felt the room silently. Jungkook shifted his focus to Tae after Jimin left and smiled at the innocent Tae, who was still patting his hand. What's that in your hand? Oh, I made some food for you since I am bored. Is it? Tae nodded with a smile. But look, I can't eat with this hand when you bring me food happily, Jungkook said. How about I feed you? Great. Let's sit there first. Jungkook pulled Tae towards the sofa and thought he was waiting for Tae to ask that question. Jimin was just about to pass Jungkook's office when he noticed someone going in the direction of Jungkook's office. I think it's not the right way to go to Emma's office. Jenny, Jimin stopped Jenny from entering the office. I know, I just want to quickly visit him, Jenny said annoyingly. He was a visitor, and it's better if you don't interpret him. A visitor who? His fiancée, and you know well about him. So come with me, the Emma office, since it's a meeting for us there. Jimin said his intern walked past her. Jingi folded her fist tightly in anger and marched behind Jimin.